I recently watched the Giannis Antetokounmpo documentary, and there was a quote in it that said, "We don't know who we are until we know where we're from." What are some values from your culture that you're proud of and that make you who you are?
Some values that I'm proud of, I would just say like community driven. And I think like in a team that shows up as being team first, and valuing that over yourself. And then I think just in my day to day life, it shows up as always wanting to give back to my community, always wanting to strengthen those connections. And yeah, just wanting to leave where I'm at better than where I found it. And that was really instilled in me from my dad. He would always give back to Ethiopia when we were growing up in San Jose. And I just saw how important family and community were to my parents. And they definitely instilled that in us from a young age.
Your dad, Girma, has an incredible story. He came to the US in 1982 after fleeing Ethiopia to Sudan on foot during Ethiopia's Red Terror. And I was reading about some of the hardships that he faced on his journey alone, and they were jarring. I mean, getting sick with malaria on the way, getting put in jail by Sudanese authorities, and then coming to the US in spite of it all, putting himself through school as a busboy and a dishwasher so that he could get his electrical engineering degree. What has he shared with you about his journey and how has it impacted you?
He's shared more and more with my brother and I as we've gotten older. But I think just hearing all that he's gone through for us to be where we're at now was always something that I was so grateful for and so inspired by. And I just really think that he shows how much hard work can get you to where you want to be. And I think like him coming to the US, barely speaking any English, and then um, getting an electrical engineering degree and becoming an electrical engineer for most of my life, was really, really inspiring. And yeah, I think he just really showed us how important it is to stand up for what you believe in too. And that's what he was doing in Ethiopia. And he ended up here, and luckily we ended up here too. But yeah, he is just a huge inspiration for me, and always encourages us to just keep pushing ourselves and see what we can achieve.
I love that. At 19 years old, your dad was standing up against a dictatorship. You're 23. You're now older than both of your parents were when they left Ethiopia. When
Yeah.
you put yourself in their shoes, what does their sacrifice mean to you?
Yeah, that is, I do remember realizing that when I was like, wow, I'm older than they were when they left their country and their family and everything they knew. And um here I am like moving to San Diego and being like nervous. It was definitely a crazy realization, but their sacrifices are the only reason I am where I am today. And I don't think those sacrifices ended with them leaving Ethiopia and coming to the US. It's been like throughout my whole life, my whole childhood, just giving so many things up so that I could play soccer and so that I could get to every practice and I could get to every game and every tournament, and always being there on the sideline supporting me and showing that they love me and wanting me to do well. So yeah, I think their sacrifices mean the world to me, and um, they're literally the only reason why I'm here.
Aw. You said in our culture, when one person makes it, everybody's made it. When you look back at the myriad of success that you've had at 23, getting a scholarship to Stanford, making the US women's national team, playing in the World Cup, becoming the first true defender and second black defender to win US Soccer's 2023 Female Player of the Year, what do you think your success means to your parents and what do you think it means to the Ethiopian community?
I mean, for my parents, like I feel like it is like all of us who have won these awards, who have made it to these tournaments or who made it to Stanford, all these things, like it does feel like it has been all of us together. And I think, I mean, just when I talk to them about it, they just tell me how proud they are. And yeah, just like how much they've loved watching me and supporting me, which always feels good. And I think like for the greater Ethiopian community, just showing that like one of us can do it. And so like why can't more of us, like, and I think that's always a cool thing to see when you're young and you're growing up and you see someone do what you want to do and you're like, whoa, like I can do that too. And I remember moments like that growing up. So I think for me, just kind of being that representation for us and hopefully inspiring younger people and yeah, just like inspiring people to do what they want and work hard at it and hopefully they'll become successful.
What would it mean for you to get the opportunity to represent your Ethiopian American culture in Paris at the 2024 Games?
It would mean a lot to me. I remember watching the Olympics growing up. It's always been such a special event, no matter what sport you're watching, just like seeing the pride to represent your country and represent your community and your family and where you come from. So I think for me to be able to take that into the Olympics would be just a really, really special feeling.
You are the first player of Ethiopian descent on the US women's national team. There have been many instances growing up where you were the only Black person on your teams. I read an article where you said, as nice as it is to be the first, I never want to be the only. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but can you talk more about what representation means to you?
Yeah, I just think it's so meaningful and inspiring to see someone where you want to be, and it's hard to really imagine it and like set that goal down and really work towards it until you see it. So yeah, I think for me growing up and being one of the only Black girls on a lot of my teams was like something that I wish was different. I feel like I was embraced and I had a good experience, but I always wanted it to be more accessible, and I feel like the barrier to entry was really high and a lot of the pay to play youth sports, and it can be really hard um, for young kids to get exposure to that and to get in the system and to be able to reap all the benefits that come of playing a sport at a competitive level. So that's something that I'm really passionate about. And I think now with the national team, seeing more players of color and seeing more representation there, it's really fun to be a part of this generation that's kind of changing that narrative. And I feel grateful to players before me who have allowed that shift to happen. And I think now for us, it's important that we keep speaking out about it and we keep just making it a priority.